Hey there, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving headfirst into the deep end of productivity. Now, if you're anything like me, a freelancer or a small business owner, you know the chaos of juggling multiple tasks. The last few months have been a whirlwind for me with lots of client work. So how do I keep my head above water? That's what I'm about to spill the beans on. Okay, let's get real. Juggling multiple projects or even doing this gig on the side is not a walk in the park. We've all been there, right? Setting goals, trying to stick to them, prioritizing, hunting for motivation, and busting past roadblocks. But that's where productivity and efficiency come in. Before getting into it, here are 3 quick lessons I learned along the way. First one. Strive for better, not bigger. Yeah, we all want to grow, but let's focus on the quality of our work and of the relationships with our clients. Second, be adaptable and flexible. We got the upper hand here. Unlike big companies, we can switch things up quickly. Third, and here's the big one. Work-life balance. It's no use burning yourself out. Being efficient and productive helps us keep our sanity. At the same time, let's be real. You'll need a certain level of obsession and dedication if you want to make it. So, whether it's working a couple of extra hours on weekends or on late nights, expect it and plan accordingly. Okay, now let's get into the weeds of productivity. Your processes matter. Seth Godin, in his book The Practice, hits the nail on the head. He says, your work is too important to be left to how you feel today. Waiting for a feeling is a luxury we don't have time for. That's why trusting the process and getting things done is what we're all about. So what's a process? Think of it as a roadmap. Let me give you a sneak peek into how I do it in my copywriting work. So we talked about the importance of processes, right? So this is what my typical project process looks like. It's also important to make sure that everything is branded, right? So I use these slides in my strategy session with clients after we've had our first initial calls. This is what I'll walk them through, just to give them an understanding of what my process looks like, to set expectations for what's coming next, and also to show a certain level of professionalism, right? So this is what my process typically looks like. I came up with my model, the alchemical conversion model. Here you can see just a simple name, easy to remember, easy to associate with my brand. And the model looks like this. We've got our triangle here. The first step is the observe. This stage is the research stage, right? So it's also important to give clients an idea of how deep you know your own process, how well you know it, how effective it is to give them the results that they want. So we got the research stage, which I coined with the term observe. Everything is kind of alchemical themed, right? So second step, we got the distill stage. This is where I analyze the research. I come up with the insights that I will use later on. Finally, we got the crystallize stage. So these are the 3 steps of my process. In short, the observe stage looks like this. So we got our 3 types of research that we run through: internal research, which can be team interviews, support transcripts, or calls. We got user research, visitor plus customer data, the 2 sides of the coin, and the market research, looking at competitors and reviews. So these 3 aspects give my clients an idea of the fact that I know what I'm talking about, that I have my own model, that I have my own way of approaching things. Next, these are some other activities that I share with my clients, things that we might end up doing for their project, and also I give them a brief overview here of the documents. After that, the distill stage. So this is the analysis step, and here I give clients this framework. So we're going to look at the personas and the transformation map. We're going to work on their positioning and value proposition. We're going to approach everything from these 3 priorities in mind. So first, we're going to fix what's broken, then we're going to adjust what's not resonating, and then we are going to add anything that's missing in their own marketing, copywriting, messaging. Again, these are insights that I've gained through experience, through working on these projects. And it's kind of my way of personalizing a process. This process with the research, analysis, writing, and wireframing is nothing new. A lot of other copywriters have used the same exact process, but the slight differences are these kind of mental models and different approaches, right? So it's important to kind of customize your own processes in order for clients to get an idea of what you do. Then we have the final stage, copy, wireframes, thought process, design and branding. This is the crystallize, so basically writing and wireframing. I give them an overview here, what that looks like. And then the final, after that, I kind of give them an overview of a typical project timeline. Again, setting expectations, it's important, clarifying what your whole process looks like. So I give them a timeline, right? So kickoff, we're gonna have our setup stage where we set everything up in their own portal. Then we have the research stage with a rough timeline, then the analysis stage, and then the final stage. So in short, this is a quick overview at my process. Again, nothing new, but it's important. If you come away from this with one lesson, remember that it's important to kind of customize your processes, make them branded, and give clients an idea that you know what you're talking about. Staying organized with systems. Scott Adams, in his book, How to Fail at Almost Everything and Still Win Big, says, goals are for losers, systems are for winners. So let's be winners, shall we? A solid system is your secret weapon for tracking tasks and deadlines. Let me show you my own project management system and how I tackle weekly and daily planning. So when it comes to having systems, what do I mean? We are going to look at two different systems that I have. The first one is kind of the client management system. For that, I use ClickUp. It's a pretty comprehensive platform where you can do pretty much anything that you can do with any project management software, but also collaborate with clients as well. I use it as their own client portal in a way, so the place that they can go to collect all the research that I share with them, all the deliverables, and have an idea of how the project is moving along with timeline and everything. So this is where I typically divide it in client services, right? So I have there, for each client, I have their own space, and then I also use it for my own business management. So we've got our CRM, so all the contacts are in here, or the leads. We got our support team, so this is where I work with my assistant on tasks. And then we got the growth and financials, where I basically just record any activities or growth activities, experiments, and the financials of the business to keep track of everything. So this, in short, is the ClickUp. I also have a couple of other things like small bets. So these are other different experiments that don't have to do necessarily with my conversion alchemy business. And then I have dashboards. This is pretty handy to just look at the time that you're working on tasks and measure your productivity. So this is the client management and project system that I use. For everything else, typically I use Rome Research. This is my to-do app, let's call it. It's basically the only place that I use on a daily basis to manage my days. And the two specific systems that I use here to manage personal and business areas are the daily review and planning and the weekly planning. I also do a quarterly review every 3 months, but the most frequent ones, obviously daily and weekly, are the systems that help me stay on track and even have peace of mind around what I'm working on, and also balance my work and life, personal life, fitness, and everything. So one of the main things that I do at the end of the day is I plan the day after, right? So I have a quick template here. For example, daily tasks, but basically generates kind of the template for the day after that I go in and fill out. So I'm going to fill out my workout for tomorrow. Let's say tomorrow I'm working on back biceps. This is my to-do on the workout. Then for to-dos, so I typically daily write my email newsletter. So this is where I'll go. This is a separate page where you can look at it and you can see. So these are the emails that I write every day, 347. The nice thing about Rome is that everything is interlinked, so you can navigate through different pages, ideas, and explore. Then we have email, Slack, and then I go and fill out all the client projects. So I will go and write the client name or client company's name, and under that, all the tasks that I need to work on. Under meetings, I'm going to look at my calendar and fill out all the meetings I have tomorrow. And at the end of the day, I also might write a couple of thoughts and ideas that I got from the the whole day that I will look at the end of the week. This is my daily review. For the weekly review, let's say that on Sunday I'm going to do my weekly review. This is the template for the weekly review. So it's divided, again, reflection. These are all good questions that you can look at. And by the way, if you want these templates, just let me know in the comments below and I would be super happy to share them with you. So we got these couple of questions, live review questions, and then what's the plan for next week? A couple of housekeeping items. And then this is pretty important. I always divide this into personal, growth, and client. So personal is anything from learning or personal life events or things, activities that you want to do, explore. Then we got the growth area. This is mostly business related. Could also be personal, but it's mostly business. So any activity, deep work stuff that I would work on, for example, my newsletter, the YouTube content, social media, the team, new clients, so leads. And then finally, we have the client section. This is where I'll add all the tasks specific to clients that I'm working with at the moment. This is pretty important because once I'm done with this is where the magic comes in, where the rubber meets the road. While I'm planning at the end of each day, I will basically keep the weekly review visible so that I basically see anything that I need to plan for, right? So I would basically just need to go and see, okay, this week I have to work on this client. Okay, I'm going to move this task for tomorrow, or I'm going to move this growth task for tomorrow, or I have this meeting, I'm going to move it here for tomorrow. So it's super handy. And one important aspect of any system is that they have to kind of communicate between each other. Otherwise, they're kind of in a silo and they're never gonna work. They're never gonna help you be productive. It's just accumulating on stuff and tasks. So always make sure that your system communicate between each other and that help you actually be productive. Productivity tools. Okay, there's a jungle of tools out there that promise to supercharge your productivity. Let me show you my go-tos and how I squeeze the most out of them. So when it comes to productivity tools, productivity boosting tools, two of my favorite ones are obviously ChatGPT. It helped me manage 5 to 6 clients at the same time, working on projects, but also anything from posting content to getting ideas and also in personal life, right? So you can see I have different chats here. These blurred ones are client chats that we just keep hidden just for the sake of working with clients. But the biggest factor with ChatGPT that helped my productivity is you can ask it basically anything, right? So the total freedom that you have with using it helps you truly explore the depths of your ideas, of how to work on projects and anything else. So you can see, for example, I have a chat that's just a chef. So I just ask how to cook stuff recently. This is a big one, my AI conversion alchemist. So this chat basically believes that it's me, that it's Chris. I kind of instructed it to be myself. So I use it for helping me write Twitter threads, sometimes email, but it's rare. Or mostly I just get ideas for concepts and topics, content ideas, business ideas, and all the good stuff. We have a summarizer. So I use this chat to just summarize mostly what I'm learning. So a lot of this is courses, transcript from courses that I go in and summarize. We have a coaching chat. So this is kind of my virtual coach whom I ask a lot of anything pretty much that I need to know about life and business. We have leisure chats like my next New York trip here. I asked for recommendations. Yeah, the most important thing with ChatGPT is always keeping chat separate and creating your own different buckets because each one will be contextual. So that's probably the main thing. But ChatGPT, if you learn how to use it correctly, it's going to be a huge productivity boost. The next one that I want to talk about is going to be Rise. So this is basically a time tracking app, but the nice thing is that it automatically tracks all your tasks. It connects with your calendar so you can see all the events, all the time blocks that you already have in your calendar, but also gives you a ton of insights into different categories of work that you're doing, different projects that you work on, your productivity. So how focused were you? How many meetings you ran? For example, I can see the weekly stats for past week. You can see a lot of good insights. You can see how many hours you work. You can set hour limits to see if you can actually balance your work life and personal life a bit better. So this is a pretty good indicator. And if you're not measuring, you're missing out on a lot of insights. Then again, timer. Right now I'm in focus mode, you can see here. So it's kind of like a Pomodoro technique timer. So you can set your focus timer, and during that time, if you're changing app, Rise will notify you that you're getting distracted and to go back to work. And then a couple of other goals. I haven't been using these as much, but it's all good stuff. So this app helps me boost productivity, get more things done. Actually, especially with the focus mode, I use it a lot. It's a great way to keep myself accountable, and also shows you, this is a really important thing about productivity, is realizing whether or not the reality of the work you're doing matches your plans. So I can see, okay, I had this calendar block here. Am I actually doing that stuff? Apparently, yes. So I was supposed to work on the YouTube content right now, and this is what I've been doing, right? So this is Rise. I have the paid plan, but I think they also have a free plan. Not entirely sure, but this is great. So if you want to check it out, I highly recommend it. Now, how do you balance multiple projects without messing up the quality? It's a tightrope walk, and it goes back to a couple of principles and rules that I gave myself. Here's how I do it. First and foremost, it goes back to peace of mind and having a safety net of savings. Knowing you've got 6 months worth left in the bank can really put your mind at ease. Second, like we've seen from all my processes, being crystal clear with clients on what they can expect is fundamental. Third, know your limits. Time is precious, so don't overbook. That's why I try to always give myself 20-hour maximum of client work per week. Fourth, and we saw it from a lot of my systems, get on board with theme days and calendar blocking. Once you tackle those, a lot of the work is taken care of. And lastly, we talked about limiting your client work hours per week. But what do you do with the extra time? Focus on growing your business. Whether it's working on a newsletter or your social media content, designate specific time blocks for that. Let me show you how I juggle 4 to 6 projects at once. So we've talked about the importance of calendar blocking, right? So this is what my calendar looks like for a typical week. We can see that from Monday to Sunday, I have my theme days here. So Head Start Mondays, Client and Calls Tuesday, Delivery Wednesday, Delivery Calls Thursday, Content and Growth Friday, Learning Saturday, and Sanity Sunday. So I got this concept actually from Joanna Weeb at Copy Hacker. So they have this great model of the theme days. So I followed that and then kind of customized it for my own work and habits. And the most important thing about calendar blocking is that first and foremost, I block my routine and kind of lifestyle tasks every day. So you can see that I have my morning routine. Every day I wake up at 4:30, and I plan on actually doing a live day in the life video, so stay tuned for that. But these are my routine tasks, all the green ones: morning routine, workout, breakfast, meditation. So every single thing is blocked. I mostly narrow down to blocks of 20 minutes minimum. Then I have my daily content. This is where I send out my email. Then I actually check my email inbox. And then every day kind of changes, but I try to keep some definite times for focused work and to be as productive as possible. For Mondays, I typically start off with content and some growth work here, and then some client work. For my only 2 days where I have calls, as you can see here, are Tuesdays and Thursdays. So we can see a couple of calls booked, but mostly they are client work, so client designated. So Tuesday, Wednesday, it's just client work, so not even calls. And then the Friday, it's again a mix of content work and some deep growth work and also review. So this is my typical work week. I might do some work on Saturday as as well, but a lot of times I just do some learning, business-oriented learning, and on Sundays I do my week review here and some personal learning in the morning. As you can see, again, every evening, weekly review, like we talked about at the beginning, so daily review, sorry. And on Wednesday, I just recently added a midweek check-in. This helps me to see, for example, I'm going to check in and evaluate, all right, I still have these X number of tasks left to do for this week. Are these hours enough to work on those tasks? Will I have to designate maybe a couple of hours on Saturday to finish something or not? So this is, again, always make sure that your systems and processes intersect and connect so you can double check on everything. And this is my calendar. You can see actually another thing, it's pretty important. The client work is pretty generic here, so you can see just client work blocks. But what I do at the end of each day in my daily review and planning is I go in and actually change the event. So I might call it client, sorry. Go in and call in client XYZ work. So I know that on this day, I'm going to work on that specific client for these hours, and I'm going to change it for just that specific day. So it doesn't change it for all the other ones because these are recurring events, right? So yeah, it's important to always customize and cross-check your to-do list, in my case, Roam research, with the calendar so they are synchronized. All right, guys, that's all for today. It's all about upping your game, being flexible, and keeping a balance. Use processes, systems, and tools to help you stay on track and efficient. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button and subscribe. I'd also love to hear about your productivity strategies, so drop them in the comments below. Got questions? Fire away. Catch you in the next video.